Hi, I'm Tom, and this is Adult Game Reviews. We have one of my favorite videos every year. It's the games I'm looking forward to play this year. This is the time when I get excited about what I do. I get to try out some new games and hopefully find some hidden gems, but also trying to find some that connect with me in some way. I have a variety of games on my list. I can't guarantee that I'm going to get to all of them, but I'm going to try. Also, I'm about 3,500 subs from 100K. To think about 3.5 years ago I would be close to 100K is crazy. I for sure thought that I would cap out at 30,000. So I want to thank everyone for following, supporting, and commenting over these last 3.5 years. Special thanks to all my subscribers on Patreon and Subscribestar, with an even bigger thanks to Sen and Rasser specifically for helping me mod the Discord and for being two of my earliest supporters. Thanks, guys. Okay, so let's get into 26 games I'm looking to play in 2026. Number 1, let's kick it off with one that I streamed for about an hour, but I haven't gotten the chance to jump back in, and that's Realm Invader by Invader Gary. This visual novel isekai story where you find yourself randomly in an alternate world with magic and elves. I really enjoyed what I played, especially the humor, but I just didn't have the time to get back into it. Right now, Invader Gary is working on Episode 3, Part 1, so I'll likely wait until later in 2026 before jumping in fully. I'm gonna let it cook a little bit, but I did enjoy what was there. Number 2 is Contagion Crisis by We Love Monsters. While I'm not usually the biggest fan of kinetic novels, this is a survival horror. We Love Monsters says their inspiration is Resident Evil and Parasite Eve, which immediately caught my attention. It's on version 0.6, so this is one I may jump into sooner rather than later. Number 3, people have been telling me I need to try out Stray Incubus for a long time. Once the old dev decided to bail, I thought Stray Incubus was DOA. However, IP Studios decided to pick it up and continue development.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
I've been waiting for an update from the new developers to see what direction they take things. Season 2, Chapter 3 was released in September, so I'm a bit late to the party, but I'm hoping to make up for lost time. I'm crossing my fingers that the transition has been smooth, but changing writers or developers on a long-running beloved project has its own hurdles. I'm rooting for you. Next, we have the 2D deck builder Half Demon Shinobi by a developer I can't pronounce the name of, but it's produced by Mango Party. I know this came out in 2024, but I've been trying to check out more games other than just VNs. You know, just for a little variety, and Half Demon Shinobi has been on my list for a while. I have a love-hate relationship with deck builders because some can be super predatory, and I think it's kind of rare to find genuinely good ones. I'm not going to name names.
Now I see you for what you really are.
I'm really hoping that this is not one of those, so I guess we'll find out. Another one that people love is Yesterday's Crossroads by Chiquino. This is a beautiful choice-based visual novel. I've heard mixed things about the story. Some people love it and others say it's just fine. So honestly, I don't know what to expect, but it's been named as underrated by a few sources. I think it's time to check it out for myself, so look for that in the next couple of months. Next, it's Desert Stalker. It's been 2 years since I jumped in. I remember development had been slow. You can see my review of that down below. However, I did enjoy what was there with some issues on force choices, but that's a conversation for another day. It's about time I check in to see what the current level of progress is. I do think the next time I jump in, I'll have a better idea of when or if Desert Stalker will complete in the next 5 years. I'm crossing my fingers. The next one on my list I've had on there for a long time, and that's Kaiju Girls. It's developed by BFGS and Kaiju Girls team with a tentative release date in 2026. You play the MC who is a kaiju tamer or monster tamer.
I've studied Monster Girl's physiology extensively.
The art in this is very Chainsaw Man-esque and immediately caught my eye. Supposedly it will be voice acted as well. I'm really hoping it lives up to the hype because it looks so good. However, that's pretty much all I know about it. I have no idea what kind of game it is, so I guess I'll find out. Next is the very substantial VN The Long Road Home by OBD Games. I streamed this one before and honestly, my first impression was fairly mediocre.
Well, that's so average.
However, I've had so many people tell me to give it a full chance. This biker visual novel grows on you and that there's some great characters. I guess it's time to see if people are right, because right now, it's not necessarily one of the most hyped on the list for me, so I hope I'm wrong. Moving on to That New Teacher by Rogue One, which has been on my list for a long time. I thought visually the game was great, but the story and the dialogue were pretty stupid when I played it. But there was a certain charm about it that I couldn't figure out, so I need to fully explore this visual novel to see if that charm fades or if it stays with you. You know, we all have those games that may not be for everyone, but we love them. I'm kind of hoping that that's that new teacher for me. People ask me why I don't do a lot of 2D games and focus on visual novels. Well, there are 2 reasons. 1, I don't have a ton of time, and 2, so many 2D games on Steam are trash, and I'm tired of wasting my time on trash games.
Trash? So much trash?
You know who you are. However, one I'm hoping that changes my mind is My Wife Wants to Be a Professional Cosplayer by Gentleman Ltd. This is a 2D game where you help your wife follow her dream of being a cosplayer. This is a management game. I tried out the demo a while back, and while short, it was pretty cute. It was recently released on Steam in November, so I'm excited to check it out. Moving on to a game that's been on this list before, and that's Out of Touch by Story Anon. Out of Touch has so much content that I need to lock myself away in a log cabin to finish it. Unfortunately, I can't do that, so I have to stick with trying to play a bit more consistently. This game has coy visuals and is probably my most requested kinetic novel, so I promise guys, I will be reviewing it in 2026. Moving on to Fet Locator S&M Studio. From the creators of Fet Locator, this is a sandbox management game where you start your own studio. While I loved Fet Locator Week 1, I liked it less each week, so I'm crossing my fingers that Fet Locator S&M Studio is more like Fet Locator Week 1 and less like Taboo University. Look for this review sooner rather than later. Moving on to Lucid by Misfit. This Honey Select style game focuses on beings called loons. They look like humans, but they can interact and shape dreams in a very unique way. Right now it's on version 0.9, so there's a decent amount of content. Some of the best and worst visual novels have all been Honey Select for me, so we'll see where Lucid falls. I have heard good things, so another one I'm excited to check out. Sorry guys, but number 14 had to be cut for YouTube safety. You can check out the full version over on my Patreon. Now, it's time for My Place is Cursed by Two Rest Studio, another 2D visual novel that's actually marked as early access on Steam. It seems like we're back to games being allowed on early access on Steam again. In My Place is Cursed, you help manage your grandfather's apartment complex, which may be cursed. This is labeled as a dating sim and visual novel with some sandbox elements. Right now it looks like it has a lot of potential, but I'm not sure exactly how much content is there. So this may be one that I play later in 2026, we'll see. Moving on to The Nature of Magic by Slate Interactive. This Honey Select style visual novel follows the main character who's one of the most powerful magic users in the realm. However, because of that, you have a big target on your back. You seek allies and mend old wounds. I played a bit of this one and so far so good, but I have a lot more to go. So look for a review on this one sooner rather than later. Plus, any story with elves, I'm there.
That hot elf looks promising.
Moving on, we have one of the more unique games on the list, and that's Goddess's Whim by N. Crow. The story follows the main character that gives his life to save another, which garners the attention of a certain goddess. Due to your selfless act, you get a chance to live again in a different world. There's a dating affection system, a skill tree, and a gathering system like fishing. The story sounds sweet. I do have questions about the translations, but I'm hoping those issues are addressed in-game. Right now, it's on update 0.4.5, with updates happening every 3 months or so, which I think is pretty good. Next, we have Silent Kingdom, which is adult, but more due to the themes than anything else. This is a JRPG in early access, but it looks really good visually. This has been on my personal list, but since I know it doesn't completely fit the channel, I will only review it if people ask me to. So let me know down in the comments if this is something that I should review. Either way, I'm hoping this is a good game. Sorry guys, number 19 had to be cut. You can get the name for free over on my Patreon if you don't want to subscribe. Next, we have the latest game by NLT Media, Symphony of the Serpent. NLT is one of the most consistent developers in the space. I have no doubts that it'll finish someday. Symphony of the Serpent continues the story from the Genesis Order and Treasure of Nadia. It sure seems from the outside that Symphony of the Serpent really increases the stakes and humanity is in the balance. I enjoyed the Genesis Order and I'm hoping that Symphony of the Serpent really concludes things appropriately. Moving on, this may be more wishful thinking than anything else, but I'm really looking forward to Season 3 concluding of BAD. I promised that when Season 3 ends, I would do a full review of all 3 seasons. With the report that Season 4 will be the conclusion of BAD, I think it's time to fully review the whole thing. I'm actually more excited about doing this than I thought I would be. Now we just have to hope that Season 3 actually concludes in 2026. Next, we have something very different, and that's Tamer, King of the Dinosaurs. There's a Steam page for it, but right now it's just available on Patreon. This is described as a survival action and dating sim. You have to survive, kill dinosaurs, and tame the locals. With wildlife taking 1 million years in development, I'm hoping that this is a good competitor in the space. However, before I review this one, I may stream it first, so you can check that out over on Joystick or Picardo. Sorry guys, number 23 had to be cut. I promise this is the last one. Moving on to Vampire Syndicate Gangs of Moonfall by A Memory of Eternity, which has been on my list for a long time. It's been on Steam since 2022, I think. So I honestly forgot about it until Annie over at SPG just covered it the other day. It's an RPG set in a vampire world. I think the whole premise is what Vampire the Masquerade 2 should have been. However, I'm not really sure if I'll get to this one this year because I do think it needs more time to cook. But I'll be keeping a close eye on this one for sure. Next, we have a game that's come back from the dead. That's Burning Boundaries Part 1 by Taboo, aka Babysitter. Babysitter was a classic game that I thought was toast until the dev reached out to me recently to check out Burning Boundaries Part 1. This NTR choice-based visual novel seems like an improvement over Babysitter in a lot of ways, but not sure when I'm going to get to this one, hopefully soon, but it's good to see some classic OG games see new life in 2026. Lastly, we finally have Tales from the Unending Void Part 2. It still upsets me that it wasn't allowed on Steam.
And I will have my vengeance. In this life or the next.
Honestly, I think the timing was just bad with all the censorship stuff going on with Steam, so I'll be heading over to GOG to check out Part 2. I mean, it's been a while, so I'll likely have to play through Part 1 again since it's been years since I played it. I'm curious if the reason it was banned from Steam is obvious or if it was just Steam changing the rules when they feel the pressure from outside groups. Either way, I can't wait to jump back in. Okay, that's the list. Thanks all, here's looking forward to a great 2026. I can't wait to jump into more games and hopefully find some gems along the way. I want to thank all my backers on Patreon and Subscribestar, and if you haven't seen my review of Eternum.9, you can check it out right here. Thanks again, until next time.